Yo, 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 what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and every one that you can, just so we get out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. All right, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come in the house. And it ain't looking too good so far, man. It's only 3 games in, but the Celtics are winless. I'm just not used to that. So, especially this rebound. Well, this kind of rebounding thing is very new. The Celtics are dead last. Well, they came into this game 29th in defensive rebound percentage. After this game, they of course dropped to 30th, and they gave up 18 offensive rebounds in this game, 30 second chance points. And it's just not looking too good in this department. Of course, the talent has dwindled with the departures of Al Horford, Luke Kornet, Kristaps Porzingis, and then you don't have your best rebounder who's hurt in Jason Tatum. So things are gonna look wonky. But we're gonna detail I have 14 of the 18 offensive rebounds. I believe Durant got like 3 in one possession, and there was a couple where they got their shot blocked and they grabbed it back, which technically is an offensive rebound. But we're gonna detail some of the key ones. So here we got Hugo Gonzalez. Congratulations on your first start, my boy. I'm not sure why you only play 18 minutes, but Cade Cunningham is in the pick and roll with Jalen Duren. He's gonna play ring around the Rosie for a little bit, and Derek White is gonna step up off of Asar Thompson. Asar Thompson is a non-shooter at this point in his career, so helping off of him, Celtics should be very comfortable in that. But he is one of the best slashers in the NBA. So if the pass is on time and on target, he gets a free runaway to the paint. He stampedes this catch, which is basically just running through the catch. So he's already got a run to start as he's catching the ball. This captures the attention of Kada right here. So he's gonna get over to Asar Thompson, and then you see Jalen Duren, who's really strong. He had 24.17 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds in this game. He was a monster. But as Kada shifts over to Thompson ever so slightly, Duren is gonna give him a slight nudge over there so he can get behind Kada, get rebounding position. Not much Katie can do there as Duren is stronger than him. Luckily this time it didn't turn into anything. All right, so in this first quarter, the Pistons had 4 offensive rebounds. They had 7 second chance points. 3 of these were of course by Jalen Duren. So Jalen Duren is going to set this step up screen, which starts everything. A step up screen is a screen angled towards the opposite baseline, so you see him faced all the way to the other side of the court. Then we're going to have this shallow cut by Duncan Robinson. A shallow cut is a cut under a pick and roll, so he's going to cut under that pick and roll and go right there. So this step up screen by Jalen Duren gets Ugo off of Cade, and Pritchard is probably gonna have to pick up here. Kada was already playing off of Jalen Duren, so Duncan Robinson is gonna cut in front of his face, and that draws him and Jaylen Brown right there. So now Jalen Duren is gonna roll free. Hugo Gonzalez does a nice job picking up that responsibility and ends up getting in front of Jalen Duren, but he doesn't actually box out. He just puts his arms around him. Kada also just grabs him from, I almost said something that was gonna sound crazy. Kada just grabs his back and Ugo grabs him but doesn't box out. Neither of them box out. Jalen Duren gets the ball. Luckily, we get the steal. All right, so Duren was forced to bring the ball up because of the pressure by Hugo Gonzalez on Cade Cunningham. They get the ball to Tobias Harris in the post, and Kada just kind of spaces out for a second. You're supposed to see ball and man. He's backing up, but he's not really looking at Tobias Harris. He doesn't know where Jalen Duren is right now. As the shot goes up, he then it's like, oh shit, I gotta get back. But then Duren just does strongman things, just moves him out the way, gets the ball, and then he scores. All right, so here in the second quarter, the Pistons had 5 offensive rebounds and 10 second chance points. Here in transition, like I can't really chalk this up to them being bad. It's just in transition. I would like somebody to stop the ball earlier. We saw in the Ugo video where he was able to stop Josh Hart from going coast to coast about 3 times, and then made them reset their offense and actually run half-court offense. But other than that, like Ron Holland's going down here at Jaylen Brown. Josh Minot attempts a block that we know he can make, which leads to Tobias Harris open. If you're somebody that would just like him to stay on Tobias Harris, that's fine. But also, I know Josh Minot can make this play, so I would really be fine with either way, honestly. All right, so this is just kind of a wild play. Anthony Simons somehow gets on Jalen Duren. He runs directly to the paint, calls for the ball. Tobias delivers it to him. Nice help by Chris Boucher and Amias Kada. A nice slap down there by Anthony Simons. Give me that. Javonte Green gets the ball back. He dumps it right back down to Jalen Duren, and he fights until he gets fouled. I can't really, fault this one, but it is what it is. All right, on this one, Asar Thompson gets the ball off the inbound. Kada is not checking Jalen Duren out there because he's not a shooter. But Kada does have to end up finding him as the shot goes up. He finds him, but Jalen Duren is just, again, strong man activities, goes right through Kada, gets an and one. All right, good news is the Celtics gave up no offensive rebounds in the third quarter. there is context to that though. The Celtics just kept fouling them so much, so they couldn't get offensive rebounds. They were 14 for 16 from the free throw line, and they only had 16 field goal attempts, which if you compare that to the other quarters, their lowest was 23. Then they end up going 10 for 16 from the field. So there was only 6 real rebound opportunities, but give Celtics some credit for getting all 6 of them, because if they didn't, it would have been a bigger problem. So here to start this one, Derek White meets former Celtic Javonte Green at the summit, blocks his shot, then he contests the lefty floater from Isaiah Stewart. But Kata, as the shot goes up, doesn't like box out Isaiah Stewart. I mean, he was in the air, so I guess, but he doesn't get up quicker than Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart's second jump sticks really well, and Holland ends up getting fouled. All right, so here the Pistons go to pick and roll with Cade and Isaiah Stewart. Towards the end of the third quarter, the Celtics started hedging Cade screens, Cade pick and roll, sorry. So if your big is feet beyond the three-point line, of course, it will be harder for him to get back into position to rebound. So let's keep that in mind. But of course, you see Cade on this side. Cade smartly goes to the other side, and that forces help off the corner by Jaylen Brown. Javonte Green made a couple shots in this game, but we're going to live with that. But if your big is all the way out here, it's going to make it harder for him to get into rebound position. But Cade actually does a good job of getting back in front of Isaiah Stewart, actually boxing out and moving him away from the rim. This one is on Derek White. So as Cade drives, he steps a little bit off of Asar Thompson in the dunker spot, right? But he sees Asar Thompson. He has ample time to get back. Like he's there on Asar Thompson, right? But he doesn't box out. He doesn't move him away from the rim. He jumps up with one hand. Asar Thompson is just too good of an athlete. He ends up getting the ball, and they get a 3. All right, so the Pistons go to 77 for Asar Thompson. 77 is just 2 on-ball screens. Got one right there, which was the most important one there by Tobias Harris, and you got the second one by Jalen Duren, which he just flips because he sees that Derek White is already behind. So this first one does a lot. The Celtics are doing softer coverage, but because you don't want to be all the way up here on Asar Thompson, he's not going to shoot there. So Asar comes off the first one, but this screen by Tobias Harris clipping Derek White, making him be behind, forces Cade to switch here. Now that means your center isn't on their center, right? So now he goes downhill. That means Jaylen Brown has to pick up on Jalen Duren. Jaylen Brown actually does a nice job getting a body on him, but Jalen Duren is just much bigger than him, much stronger. It is what it is. Okay, this is on Sam Hauser. A handoff between Jalen Duren and Tobias Harris. Screen by Jalen Duren gets Hauser stuck, so now Luka Garza has to switch on Tobias Harris driving. Hugo Gonzalez did this correctly in the first half, right? So if Garza takes Tobias Harris, now I know this team is like their identity defensively has switched. So it's like we're trying to create turnovers. It's 5 people versus the basketball. We're trying to create so much havoc. But we've seen in the last clip, we just saw Jaylen Brown on a switch. He had to get Jalen Duren, and he stopped him from getting a free run to the paint. Hugo Gonzalez did this same thing and got a foul call because Jalen Duren just pushed him out the way, right? Sam Hauser, who is the least athletic out of those 2 guys I just named, he follows Tobias Harris and tries to get a block, but just jumps in a thin air, leaving Jalen Duren wide open for a lane to get the offensive rebound. Now, Derek White is accounting for Asar Thompson because that's who he's guarding. Gets completely blindsided by Jalen Duren. This is over the back though, like one classic over the back. He literally goes over his back to get a rebound. Now, hopefully that's the rule. I don't know, but they didn't call this. But that to me is on Sam Hauser because he didn't go back to Jalen Duren and make sure he couldn't just jog down the middle of the lane, get his offensive rebound. Now that Derek White is now on Jalen Duren, nobody's on Asar Thompson. Luka Garza comes back into the play to contest Jalen Duren. Again, nobody's on Asar Thompson. He just dunks it back. All right, so this one to me is on Garza. We got a ghost screen by Duncan Robinson. Doesn't really do much to Derek White. He's in perfect position to defend this, right? Luka Garza is not a shot blocker. He's not an athletic type of guy. He does things well. That's not one of them, right? So he trails this while Derek White is in perfect position and tries to get this block. He ends up fouling Cade Cunningham, but they didn't call it. He quite literally smacks him in his face. But again, him making that decision leaves Jalen Duren wide open to run down the paint again. He gets the offensive glass. Hauser actually does a nice job of contesting the rebound, but his man was Asar Thompson. So because he has to pick up for Garza and contest Duren, now nobody's on Thompson. He gets an and 1. All right, Sherrod Pritchard is mismatched in the post with Tobias Harris. The Celtics are going to cave into the paint to try to help him. You see Derek White doing a nice job initially boxing out Jalen Duren. The pass goes out to Cade Cunningham. He shoots a 3. Jaylen Brown does a nice job of getting in front of Jalen Duren, moving him, getting in front, and getting him away from the paint. This ball does go directly to Ausar Thompson, but Derek White, again, he didn't look for a body, he didn't box out, and you're not going to win a jumping match with Ausar Thompson. If you box him out and move him, it's going to be harder for him to get the ball. He doesn't do either of those things. He jumps right over him, gets an assist. All right, so this one was a product of some nice dribble moves by Cade Cunningham. So he spins, Josh Minott is behind, so he's going to be aggressive coming back here thinking he has to get the ball. Cade use that to his advantage, crosses over, and look at this by Tobias Harris. Game is over right here. I knew Tobias Harris was going to get this rebound. So Cade rejects the screen, then he pins Josh Minott on his back. And as Cade shoots the ball, Tobias Harris has a wide open lane to go get the offensive rebound, and he puts it back. But that is the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and every one that you can, just so we get out there a little bit more. Now we'll see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.